Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Ask PK. Today, we're going to be talking about equality and equity, and we're just going to hear Pastor Keith's thoughts on it, and we'll dive into it a little more in the coming weeks. And so, Pastor Keith, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks. It's a big topic,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some false assumptions about this question itself. So I'd like to address some of that because we spent a large part of last century, 20th century, struggling with this, with a lot of casualties and victims, hundreds of millions of people, literally, and billions, their lives changed because of this ideology. I think it is very important for us to think about and discuss about it. First of all, since it's a short program, like 5 minutes each, so I'm gonna just go little by just a little bite size. Number one is that equality and equity are not Christian ideas. A lot of churches are getting confused on this. This equality and equity are based on materialistic worldview, which is different from Christian worldview. As a result, they think they can quantify the advantages and disadvantages in life. But before we even get to that, this false assumption is that the advantages and disadvantages in life are same for people. And we know by life experience, some disadvantages in our life actually serve us to excel better in some other area and become advantage in our lives. So advantages and disadvantages in life cannot be quantified or qualified. And we know the survivors of a Holocaust, as a people group, they have achieved a lot more than any other people group. It's a horrific experience they went through, and yet because of that, they are grateful for life and they celebrated life as such. Now, there's another assumption that is wrong. If advantages and disadvantages can become a commodity that we can collect and distribute at will, that has never done before. This is actually our history stands against it. Historical evidences are all against such effort. That's a social experiment that has not been proven, or the people who have tried have never succeeded. In fact, a terrible result has occurred as a result. Now, I talked about hundreds of millions of people literally dying, and billions of people, their lives changed as a result as well. So, so Christian value, what is a Christian value? Is we receive whatever we receive. Starting point is that some are gifted intellectually, some athletic strength, beauty. Some are gifted in relations, and they can articulate and communicate. There are different things. They are very mechanical, and there are all kinds of different gifts. You cannot quantify that. And because you have such gift, you need more of this, and then you cannot just give it to that person. We all start from different points. Some start from from a place that is negative, like a physically limited and whatnot, and all those things. But we trust God's faithfulness, and we become faithful and trust Him. And the Bible and biblical worldview is we pursue excellence. So we put ourselves in it. Hard work is given. And when we achieve certain success, then it is our gratitude. We are thankful to God for allowing us and giving us these opportunities and the resources and talents and gifts. And because of our gratitude, we become compassionate and charitable toward other people who have not achieved that point yet in their lives. And so that is Christian worldview. And it's not everybody become same and all that. It has never happened in human history. In fact, if you assume that these advantages and disadvantages in life, completely materialistic worldview, if you can collect that and distribute at will, that platform that can enable that such ideology to become practice in life, that platform is a brutal regime. It has, we have a communist and dictators who try to do this. And then historically, even Hitler was voted in by people because he promised this equity, car for every family. Therefore, people's car, Volkswagen. He promised to put that car in every garage, and that was his line. And the people really bought into that kind of thing. Same thing goes every other, Lenin and even Mao Zedong and Pol Pot, Cambodia, and all that promise the same thing: equity in a very materialistic world. But life is not like that. Our experience shows that our life is not. People don't start from same point, and people don't end up in same point. In fact, our middle life, the way we handle life, some waste their time, resources, distracted. Some are very focused. They're all different. Therefore, this idea of equality or equity is not really human experience. We have pursued this throughout history and never have achieved. And especially because the platform that can deliver that idea has to be very powerful to collect from people who's unwilling to give, to distribute to people who are actually in need. And that is a very, very difficult call. You cannot even do this in the family setting, and much less in a government structure. So that's why there are a lot of false assumptions went into this, especially as a Christian. This worldview, a materialistic worldview, that everything can be, done in money, material ways, and quantified. That's not true at all, right? We have faith, we overcome, and that's common experience. Even if you're not a believer, every time the presidential election, the candidates say, "Well, I'm from blue collar family. I rose to the underdog, achieving success." That's our ideal. And now we are trying to say, we start from same place, end up in same place. That's not human experience at all.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a lot to unpack with this
Right.
equality versus equity and inequity. And so, we're excited to kind of unpack it in the coming weeks. And so thank you for your insights today, Pastor Keith.
Okay.
And we'll see you next time for another episode of Ask Pastor Keith.